Hi, and welcome back to CLI's 15 on Friday. Each month, we sit down with educators, authors, and advocates for high-quality education for children. I'm Priscilla Williams, and I'm excited to introduce Jamilah Thompkins-Bigelow, award-winning author, former educator, and developer of anti-racism curriculum. Jamilah, on behalf of our team, we're so excited you could join us today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Recently, we hosted a read-aloud of Your Name is a Song, one of your 9 titles, and we decided we should talk to you. We should bring you in. So thank you for coming in. In previous interviews, you've talked about how you bring your whole identity in when you're coming in and writing these children's books, whether that's as a Black woman, as a mother, as a Muslim. How does that all influence your choice in writing?
So I tell stories about childhoods that I know well. That could be my own childhood, that could be the childhoods of my kids, children that I've educated, but I really focus on telling stories of kids that I know very, very well and bringing those stories to other people, to life, making them more relatable to everyone else. But I think because I know them well, the relatability happens pretty easily. And I hope that you can feel sort of the love that I have for the characters in the stories because they're all based on real people. Even if I change details, at heart, they are based on people that I know well.
Yeah. Would you consider this like a celebration of the people you've known and of who you were and kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I want to love on a lot of these different people. So whether that is, little Jamilah, is a child me, or that, might be my kids or like so many kids that I've worked with in the past who I feel like they deserve that sort of love and empathy.
Yeah. So former educator. Also part of this. Did you have a favorite grade to teach?
Oh, so I have a really strange history as an educator because I started out secondary. That's what I did in the classroom. I taught mostly high school, a little bit of middle school at some point. And then I went to community education. And when I did that, I was teaching mostly young children, elementary, and sometimes even younger than that. So I guess I would say, well, one of my biggest brags, first of all, is I've educated every age of child, like from 2 to 17, I've done it. And I love all of the different age groups. I would say if we're talking about older kids, 11th grade, they are my heart, they're my joy. I love 4th graders a lot. I feel like there's something special about a 4th grader, they just are very open to ideas and things and trying new things. They're all heart, but they're so curious and they have a lot of great problem solving abilities that just make them a cool group to work with. And then, I don't know, the little ones are always just fun anyway. They're always going to be fun.
I agree. I did volunteer work with children in 4th grade was always my favorite. It was no shade towards any other age group, but something about 9-year-olds where I'm like, God. You're ready for anything, and they're so full of personality and excitement, and they're not quite on that middle school cusp yet where they think they're too cool, and I am officially now their nerdy caretaker. Right. So I understand. To kind of shift it a little bit, in Your Name is a Song, the book we're here to talk about today, we are following the girl who we later learn her name is Cora Jalimuso. And she's learning that this feeling of being represented in ownership of her name is really just the music of our hearts and of our heads. And so what inspired you to approach this topic in particular?
Oh, wow. I just love the way that you put that, the music of our hearts and our head. I really feel that. I was actually inspired by a former student, quite honestly, and it's kind of a long story, but it was an 11th grader, and everyone at our school had a nickname for him. They shortened his name because they couldn't pronounce his first name. I could pronounce his first name. I was familiar with the name, but most people called him a name for short, and because I knew how to say his name, one day, in between classes, or maybe after school, he was talking to me about his name. And he told me all of his name because he had like a few middle names and he had this really nice, beautiful, long Nigerian name.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so carefully picked out. You could tell his parents had put care into it. And I remember especially loving the middle name Olumide. And, I remember writing it down in my notebook when I had some time to write later that day, and just, and I'm thinking, you can sing that name, Olumide,
Yeah.
And I remember putting, that name is a song. Your name is a song. And what could, your name is a song, that sounds like a title of a children's book. What could that be about? And so I wanted to put, obviously, a child in there and that was much younger and, change the characters around. But I knew that Olumide would be the first name in this book, mentioned in this book, because it kicks off the book. Yeah. So it is, again, about loving and celebrating, the different children in my life.
Yeah. As soon as you said Olumide, I was like, oh my God, it's in the book.
Yeah. So that's like, that background of why that's there. Olumide,
yeah.
I knew it was like whatever happens with names, and there were so many names, and I had to edit out and cut names and figure out which ones to keep. And I said, but whatever happens, that will always be the first name of this book. That's mentioned in this book.
That's so beautiful. And that kind of leans into the next question is, in the back of the book, there's this really beautiful little breakdown of all of the names and their meanings. Why do you think that was important to include?
Because I think it's so special. Like there's so much richness there, and a lot of times we don't recognize the richness that is in, the different names that are out there. And so I wanted to let people nerd out the way that I nerd out about names, And so, and I wanted them to know. And also because if you read the different things in the story, the names that are mentioned, oftentimes I will say things like, a fire dances in Sagnika, right? And you could just say, oh, she just says that about Sagnika because she likes the way it sounds. But if you go in the glossary, there's more about why there's a fire that dances in Sagnika. Right. There's more about why Tando Wetu stretches out like a love song, right? Like there's so much in it, these different names. And so I'm alluding to it in the lines of the story, but in the glossary, you can actually do a deeper dive.
Yeah. I thought when I first read the book, it was exciting to see. I think I'm in the same brain of we celebrate our identities, and your name is one of those really important ones. Is there, outside of Olumide, is there any other name you'd like to highlight from the book before we move on to other things?
I mean, they're all so special. Like, that's a hard question.
No, yeah. I really liked the addition of Bob. I thought that was a nice...
Oh, I thought it was important.
Yeah, I think it was great.
I thought it was important. Yeah, I thought it was important.
Okay. Well, thank you for chatting about that. For our viewers and listeners, if you'd like, there is a special read aloud of Your Name is a Song by Michael Threets available on YouTube. So kind of just slide into other things. You offer mentorship for new people and authors new to Kids Lit. If you could give a piece of advice, but only one, people
You're
get
to me.
We have to invite people to go explore your resources that are available.
Yeah, this is true.
What would you give?
Read lots and lots of the literature that you want to write, the kinds of literature that you want to write. Be so well versed in it that you have a little library in your head of all of the different kinds of books before you can even try to learn how to write or start to write these things. A big part is to read and to be in conversation with all of the different texts that are out there.
Yeah, I love that. And also in this vein, you've written 9 other children's books, including Abdul's Story and Salat and Secret. Do you have any new works you want to share with our readers and our listeners that they might want to look out for?
Oh, yes. So there's this book that I've just written called, it's a picture book, Together We Are Sunshine. And it's illustrated by Raisa Figueroa. If you've seen her art, you know why I'm excited about this book. So Together We Are Sunshine is a book about 3 sisters who are, sort of playing out in the woods on a summer's day, and basically just figuring out how to get along with each other, but also kind of just exploring, the woods, just exploring nature. And so it's a fun book where they're kind of searching, they're trying to grab the sunlight. They're trying to grab the sun. And it's just a fun book about that. It's a cheery, sunny book.
Okay. I think I'll have to definitely make sure I grab a copy. I have 2 sisters, and I'm sure we've done very similar antics. Is there any ways that our listeners could find you or anything you'd like to plug in the upcoming months where people can see you in person?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can always find my events at my website. It's jamilahthewriter.com. So Jamilah, Jamilah, thewriter.com. And my events are always listed there. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky now at author Jamilah. And my email, authorjamilah@gmail.com.
Well, thanks so much for carving out some time today to chat with us. This has been quite a treat.
Yes.
To our listeners at home, thank you for tuning in. This podcast is written and co-produced by me, Priscilla Williams. Filming and editing, as well as co-production, done by Jess Hewland. Our executive producers are Jordan Owen and Justin Hudson. This is a special production on behalf of Children's Literacy Initiative, made possible by donors like you.